Hey everybody. So we know that the Detroit Red Wings are not very good. Their win over Dallas last night was just their second win of the season. They're, I think, the worst team in the league. But there's one player on that team that I am very impressed with, and I think he is far and away the best player on the Red Wings, and that is Dylan Larkin. I got to watch that game last night, and this kid he's so much better than everyone else on that Red Wings team. Um, he's always making plays. He has the puck on his stick a lot. He's a great skater, and he puts up pretty good numbers for being on a bad team. And he would put up much better numbers if he was on a better team. If he had people around him that could actually play, I think he'd be a point per game player. But he's stuck on Detroit and not surrounded by a whole lot of talent. So his numbers are not league leading or anything like that. But he is a very good player, a very talented player, and a lot of fun to watch. Detroit as a whole does not have much. I like a few of their young players. Obviously I love Larkin. I like Mantha. I like Bertuzzi. I think that they're pretty good players. Other than that, there's not a whole lot in that lineup right now. I haven't seen Svechnikov all that much. He's injured now, I believe. There's not. Zadine is in the minors, and he's off to a kind of slow start in the minors. But I think he's going to be good long term, but obviously not NHL ready right now. Larkin is just far and away the best, though. This kid is fantastic. He's got blazing speed. He's got a ton of skill. He plays the game with a little bit of an edge. He's not someone that's gonna let you just push him around. Usually, just look at some numbers here. So he's only 22 years old. This is his fourth year in the NHL, I believe. He's obviously played with Detroit his whole career. He's their number one center at this point, with Zetterberg retired, and Detroit does not have much. I mean, when you're thinking about best players on Detroit, they have two very average goaltenders, so they're out. Their defense is an absolute disaster. Detroit's blue line is a joke. Old men and no names, basically. So no one even close to no one on their defense is even close to being a high-end NHL player anymore, at least at this point. Cronwall at one time, I would say, was, but certainly not anymore. In forward-wise, it's very mediocre outside of some of that young talent. Anthony Mantha, I really like. I think can be a solid power forward. He's off to a slow start this year, though. He scored last night. It's only his second goal of the season. Tyler Bertuzzi, I like because of the way that he plays and how physical he is, and he's a bit of a pest. The offensive skill isn't really there yet. He's still got some developing to do, at least offensively, before he becomes a prominent goal scorer. He scored a very lucky goal last night, but he scored a goal as well. Larkin, for me, is by far their most developed player, of the young talent that they have, and their best player by far. So far this season, he leads the team in points. Through 11 games, he has 4 goals and 5 assists for 9 points and also 8 penalty minutes. Last season was his best year as a pro, and not even close. He played all 82 games. He had 16 goals and 47 assists for 63 points, and also 61 penalty minutes. So he had at least a couple of fights last year. So he does play with a little bit of an edge, and he's somebody that I think hopefully carries that edge with him and that chip on his shoulder through his entire career. Because I think he can be one of those star players that does play with that edge. Maybe not quite the way, as big of an edge as the way maybe a Jamie Benn does, because Ben's a tough guy. He scores a lot of points, and he's also a tough guy. Larkin, I don't think is that tough, but he's one of those guys that can put up 70 points and also have a couple of fights and have a decent number of penalty minutes every year. he's certainly not a guy that's just going to let him get himself get pushed around or his teammates get pushed around. Um, this season, I mean, it's going to be hard for Larkin to put up a ton of points because Detroit is so bad, but he is their best player, so I think he could definitely reach 70 points this year. I'd like to see him get to 20 goals. His assist numbers are obviously pretty good. He had 47 last year. He's got 5 already this year. I'd like to see him get to 20 goals. If he could become a 20 goal, 40 assist guy, even more than that, maybe 20 to 25 goals and then 50 assists, get over 70 points, then I think that you have a very, very good player, and certainly someone to build around in Detroit. If I'm the Detroit Red Wings, this is the guy I am building my entire team around for the future, because he's going to be your #1 center for years to come. He's only 22. He's got another, hopefully, 15 plus years in this league. If I'm Detroit, this is my superstar. This is the kid I am building the team around. So basically, I just wanted to talk about Larkin a little bit, and there because most everything I've talked about Detroit so far this season has been negative because they're so bad. But there is hope for the future. They do have talent. There are some bright spots on this team, and Dylan Larkin is the biggest one. I love this kid. I think he is going to be a superstar in the NHL for years to come, and Detroit absolutely has a lot to look forward to with Dylan Larkin. So they're going through some really tough times now where the team is not good at all, but the future is bright as long as they continue building around Larkin. And once they fix the goaltending situation and get some actual talent on defense, I think they're going to be much better. And it may be a few years down the road before they're good again, but once they get good again, I think Larkin is going to lead the way, and this is going to be a very good team. Because this guy has leader written all over him, and he has superstar written all over him. So Detroit fans should be very, very happy to have Dylan Larkin on the roster. So that's what I've got on Larkin. Like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media. Check out offthewallhockey.com. All those links are down in the description below. If you'd like to further support Off the Wall Hockey, the Patreon link is down in the comment section below, or down in the description below as well. Keep spreading the word about this channel. Let's keep this thing growing. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you guys soon.